You're now listening to the You Run podcast.
True crime. This podcast is unique. Heather, tell them why.
You choose the cases, you share your opinion, and I hit you with mine.
He got an easier death than he deserved.
Casey was the first Illinois prisoner executed against his will.
An eyewitness later described Bundy's last moments of life.
He made reference to his loved ones and to his family when he was saying his last words.
A serial killer comes about by circumstances and
This is the You Run podcast. This is the only true crime podcast where we put you in control. You become part of our team as me and Heather take you through the cases that you have chosen. This is not our show. This is your true crime.
That bitch is cray-cray. She's real crazy.
Hello, well, welcome to the You Run podcast. My name is Scott.
And I'm Heather.
And each month we take you through a case that you have chosen for us to investigate and share with you. If you've listened to the first two episodes, you gave me Jack the Ripper, which Heather joined us for our first episode. You then gave me the Zodiac Killer, where I had the OG Shape, or Dan, on the show. And at the end of that episode, we announced Heather as the full-time co-host of True Crime. So Heather, welcome to your permanent role of making my life so much easier.
Thank you. I'm so excited that I get to be a part of this. It's a lot of fun and I love true crime.
Which is good because you are the polar opposite of me. I hate true crime and it scares the shit out of me.
It's so funny that it scares you. I mean, I guess it's like we watch all these horror films and they don't scare either one of us, but I kind of get why it might scare you. But like for me, I'm just like, it's people, man. This is the real fucking world. Like people are fucking scary.
And that's why it scares me.
Watch out for your neighbors.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, with those first two cases, with Jack the Ripper and with the Zodiac Killer, they were unsolved crimes. And
Yes.
I thought they were going to be the peak of how difficult a case could be and the peak of how sick and sadistic people could be. And then you said that we should do female serial killers.
Yes.
So today, the listeners have picked our first female serial killer, which is Aileen. I cannot pronounce this woman's surname.
Okay.
Please help me.
It's okay. It's Aileen Wuornos.
Wuornos, because I want to call her Wuornos, but it's not.
Yeah, it has the extra, like, what is it? The extra O or something in it. I get it, but it's Aileen Wuornos. So just kind of smash it together.
Okay, that's fine. I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
She is terrifying. In fact, in the research for this episode, female serial killers as a general rule are fucking terrifying.
Way more terrifying than male. Absolutely.
Yeah. You ladies are scary.
Don't fuck with us. That's why.
Why are there less female serial killers? Because I know you know the answer to this. Why are men more prone to be serial killers?
Okay. So that is sort of a loaded question, to be honest with you, because it's more like, you're asking, why are there more male killers? It has more to do with the motive. It has more to do with the reasoning as to why these female serial killers kill versus why man kills. So most men kill out of rage, right? It's like too much testosterone. It's like all this rage shit. But then you have women who their main motive seems to be that it's either monetary or it's out of like love, jealousy, which some people can constitute that and say, oh, well, that's rage, but it's not the same as rage. It's not the same.
No, it's not. And what I've seen of female serial killers so far is they tend to be a lot more premeditated and a lot more calculating than male killers.
Yes, they are. And also, if you think about the crimes actually committed, you have men that are very forceful. They do very vile things. Not saying that women do not, but they're mostly like, I'm going to stab or I'm going to shoot or strangle. But a lot of women, aside from Aileen, a lot of women, because we're going to get into that, because there's a crazy thing as to why she is so much more like a male serial killer. Most women, though, tend to come from a place of care. And I know that sounds conflicting, they poison their victims.
Yeah.
It's almost this like motherly instinct kind of, I'm going to take care of you, but I'm also going to murder you.
Yeah, and doing this podcast has made me look at Lisa in a different light. So if me and Lisa have a bit of an argument now, she's like, "Do you want a sandwich?" It's like, "No, I'll do my own. I'm good."
Well, look, they changed, what is it? Antifreeze or antifreeze, however the fuck you say it. I don't know. Anyway, they changed it because back in the day when there would be women that would poison their husband's beverages with antifreeze, and it was like sweet tasting. So let's say they drank Gatorade. The motherfuckers didn't know they were about to die. You just get sick and you're like, oh, why am I sick? This Gatorade's gone past its expiration date. No, it's the antifreeze.
Yeah, see, that scares me a lot. That really, that genuinely
it's
does.
Terrifying. Yeah, we're very much like, we want to kill you, but we also kind of like want to love you. And that's the thing with the poisoning. It's like they're taking care of this person that they're killing.
Yeah.
So it's so fucked up.
Yeah, Aileen, thankfully, is very different to that. She's a serial killer that I can understand. Yes. She's very, very clean cut.
You don't want to be present for today's hearing.
Because I'm tired of this re-election jazz. They're just trying to get promotional ladder climbing and political prestige from this. And I'm sick and tired of this. I'll probably get 3 more death row sentences. And then I got to go to Pasco and Dixon for 2 more death row. How many times you got to kill me? You know what I mean? This is bullshit.
Governor Jeb Bush signs death warrants scheduling the executions. 44-year-old Aileen Wuornos is one of the nation's first known female serial killers. She will be executed October 9th for the murders of 6 men. Wuornos has dropped all of her appeals.
I'm trying to save taxpayers' money. You people don't care. You want to press on with a jury and everything else to try to impress the public. And all I want to do is go back to prison, wait for the chair, and get the hell off this planet that's full of evil and your corruption in these courtrooms.
I did it because I believe in the death penalty and I have a duty to implement the law.
The goal for this episode, there's a goal on every episode. So the last ones have been try to identify who the killer is. In this case, we know who the killer is. We know the whole case from first crime right through to how it all ends. So when I asked the listeners what the goal should be, they all come back with the same answer. They want to know why. They want to know what Eileen's motive was.
Okay.
And that's going to be our goal in this episode.
Right.
I think a good place to start is to try and understand Aileen herself, because she's not before she was a criminal, she had a very, very troubled life. I think it is a delicate way of putting it. Her life was fucking horrific.
I'd say it's an understatement in that sense, because we all have a bad life. We've all gone through shit. We've had trauma. Bad things have happened, but this is bad. Like the way she was treated from the time she exited her mother, who was a piece of shit, until she got caught killing all these men.
Yeah, so she was born in 1956, and shortly after, her father was convicted of child molestation.
Yes.
Which, that's not a good start for anyone. And a few years later, thankfully, he killed himself in prison. I know I shouldn't say thankfully, but the bastard got what he deserved.
I mean, he's a pedo, so do we really want to condemn that? Like, we don't want to have that going on. Like, he was a nasty motherfucker, so you gotta go.
So you gotta go. If you do it yourself or someone else does it, whichever way it happens, I'm applauding that. If you don't like that, maybe this is not the show for you.
Exactly.
She was abandoned. With her and her brother were abandoned. And they lived with their grandparents. And as far as I can gather, up until a certain point when she was a little bit older, that upbringing wasn't too bad. It wasn't ideal, but as she got to sort of double digits, when she was like 10 or 11, she started seeing that her grandfather was beating her grandmother. So they come from not the nicest of families. And at age 11, she started trading sexual favors for money, beer, cigarettes, and drugs.
It's asinine to hear to hear you say that, only because like I have a 10 and an 11-year-old, 2 boys, and then a 19-year-old daughter. But I mean, just saying that, like, can you imagine your children
No.
She's trading sexual favors. Like, you don't even know what sex is at 10 or 11, or you're not really supposed to.
No. At 10 or 11, I was playing with He-Man. I had no idea what sex was at 10 or 11.
I mean, I was watching horror films, but I was not participating in any type of sadistic, weird shit like that.
No.
So, but at the same time, I didn't really know what sex was. Like, I knew, but I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know enough that I would be able to trade sexual favors to get stuff.
I don't want nothing that bad. What the fuck
No.
are you talking about?
I'm not being fun.
No.
I don't want anything that bad now.
No, me neither. And we're both married and adults now, so we know what to get, what we need to get. We ain't got to do all that crazy shit. Okay,
Exactly that. It went from bad to worse for her because at 14 she had her first child, which was apparently fathered by one of her grandfather's friends. Which is, again, oh my God, this poor girl.
It's fucked up. And I want to add to that though too, because there was some speculation that her grandfather may have actually been her father. Yeah. So if you want to, we're talking about Aileen, but if you want to go back and talk a little bit about Bundy was in a similar situation where he was raised by his grandparents thinking that was his parents, and then found out, because his mother was a young mother, found out like the mom, that's your mom, not your fucking sister, like they told you. And the grandparents were your grandparents. So why are you doing that?
Yeah. There's a lot of people who say that your upbringing doesn't affect your grown-up life to that big an extent. There are people who will argue that you can have the worst childhood ever and you can go on to be an award-winning actor, or you can become a doctor or a nurse. And I will agree with those people. It can happen. But the things that happen to you as a child directly impact how you are as an adult. And I don't give a toss what anyone says. It does.
I 100% agree. And also it deals with nature versus nurture. So your environment and how you're taken care of as a child has an extreme effect on how you're going to grow up as an adult.
Yeah.
Like if you're beaten, it's more likely that you'll be in an abusive relationship, and or you are abusive yourself. So I concur on that, because it's not true all the time.
Yeah, no, it's not. And there are some people who have horrific childhoods who go on to do great, wonderful things. But for the general rule that they don't. After her baby was born, was soon given up for adoption. And she then kind of went a bit wayward. So she was living on the street. She was hitchhiking from county to county, using different names. She was 14 when her grandparents finally kicked her out of the house.
You do know too that she also lived in the woods, like around age 13. Like she literally was like, you have to go live in the woods like a fucking wild animal. Like, so she, like, seriously, it's like a feral child. She's taking care of herself, right? It's so fucked up. And I have another fucked up fact whenever we get to it. It's so gross, but you guys, it is what it is.
And the woods are horrific. The woods are terrifying. And we done an episode on horror movie review. We done the Blair Witch, where I went and recorded my part of the Blair Witch episode in the woods at night. Fuck that. I was out of there in like 2 hours. There was no way I would be able to stay there all night.
I cannot.
13, no.
Yeah, but I think what it was like her grandparents were so abusive. So it's like, what's the better situation, right? Do you live out in the woods to get away from the abuse and the sexual abuse? Like, that's the part that fucks me up the most about this, is the sexual abuse aspects of it. It's like, I cannot with that when a crime is committed against a child like that. I mean, abuse in any form is awful. But then when you start getting into that aspect, I'm going to kill everybody. I can't.
I'm with you on that. And it was... her life kind of stayed like that until the early 80s. Her brother died of cancer. And shortly after that, she moved down to Florida to work as a prostitute. She was constantly in problems with the police. She had felonies and misdemeanors coming out of her ears. She had firearms, illegal possession of drugs, forgery, assault, robbery. It's just the list of things she done goes on and on and on. Her arrest records frequently said, and I quote, attitude poor.
Okay, but let's back up for just a second on that. Okay, so most of her crimes, if you think about them, they're all survival tactics.
Yeah.
In that sense, like she had to rob, she had to eat, she had to stay alive. And also going back to her brother, he died of throat cancer. She did receive, like, I think it was $10,000 from his death, but obviously she blew it, like gone in like a week. But fucked up fact, she supposedly had an incestual relationship with her brother.
Oh my fucking God.
Yes. And so to add to the insanity of the fact that she came from this bullshit, you're adding the fact that there was incest. So
Yeah.
I like that. And I've watched a lot of documentaries on her. I did a lot of I even watched Monster. Now we'll get into that later, but Monster has nothing to do with her background. You know nothing when you watch that film.
No,
you see
don't.
her current. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And which is kind of why I wanted to touch on everything that builds to what happened, because I think it's very important to understand what made her a killer. And
exactly.
All of this definitely contributed to it. In 1986, she met Tyra Moore in a bar. They become romantically entangled. And they stayed in a relationship until she was finally arrested in 1991. It's her second relationship with a woman. As a prostitute, her clients were mainly middle-aged men of low to middle class. So she was not a high-class lady of the night.
Well, I don't want to be rude, but I'm going to be rude because you know how I am.
Yep.
She wasn't a very pleasant looking woman. I'm not trying to be a bitch, but just saying, I get it. Prostitution. Those type of men that pay for the sex, do you think they really give a fuck? Probably not. She just wasn't a very attractive woman. So that would make sense for her clientele to be overweight, middle-aged men. Probably some of them were married.
Yeah, and
there you go.
Yeah, these are the guys who are playing "Come on, Aileen" as they're pulling up.
You'll make me choke on my damn wine.
I know. I know that. I
That's
know
great.
that joke was in terrible taste, but hey ho,
I love it. I fucking love it. I fucking love it.
Together, Aileen and Tyra sold stolen items to pawn shops. During the murder investigation, they found belongings of the victims that they'd sold in the pawn shops as well. This was kind of how it all come undone, because the police traced those pawned items back, and that's how they made everything click. By 1990, Tyra had become suspicious, if not fully aware, of the crimes that Aileen had committed. And when she was arrested on an outstanding warrant, Tyra just rolled on her and threw her under the bus.
I mean, the whole thing with Tyra, like, I don't even know to get into that. Like, they're both disgusting in that aspect, because, I mean, you saw Tyra. I'm sure you saw, like, pictures of her, and she's, I don't know how to say this nicely, but she's not your typical butch. She's your typical butch dyke. Like, that's exactly what she was. And I think Aileen looked at her as like, this will be easy for me.
Yeah.
Looking for love in all the wrong places.
And I think there's a sense of Aileen saw her as a bit of a protector. And I would imagine that when Tyra threw her under the bus for everything, Aileen was quite shocked. I don't think she would have expected that.
I don't think so, but it benefited Tyra more for her to do that, because she didn't have to get in trouble. Like, I'm going to throw her ass under.
Well, they gave her, because the deal they offered was full immunity.
Yeah.
Full immunity of all of your crimes, which is mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling.
We'll get into that.
Yeah,
it's crazy in the States. It's crazy.
I've got lots of questions about the US prosecution and trial system. It's it's not like the UK is very clean and straightforward. The US is like, bizarre. But we'll
I'll
get
do
into
my best,
that.
Captain. I'll do my best, Captain. I salute you. I'll try my best. It's so fucked up. I can't. It's hard to explain.
So when we get into her killing spree, and it was a killing spree,
Yes.
it went from late 1989 through 1990. The bodies of 7 middle-aged white men were discovered in Central Florida. The killer had robbed all of the victims before shooting them to death and stealing their cars. Her first victim was a shop owner, Richard Mallory, 1989. He's 51 years old. He picked her up as a prostitute on Interstate 75 in Florida. And the police discovered his body several miles away from his abandoned car. And he'd been shot multiple times in the chest.
Yes.
And robbed.
Very, very much unlike an actual woman killer when you think about it. Very rage induced, if you ask me.
Yeah, when I read about this, I think this first murder was provoked, and I think this was a defense killing.
Okay, I'm not sure if I agree or disagree, but if you watch the movie, that's what they portray, is that basically when she picked these Johns up or would get in the car with them, some of them were extremely abusive to her. They basically tried to rape her. So that makes sense. It's a defense.
I mean, I don't think that's the case for all of these, but I think this first one, I think this might have, I don't think she set out with the intent to kill him. I don't think that she did either, but I think once she did, it gave her a different type of satisfaction that we cannot comprehend as normal human beings, because it was like, I got away with it. You need to put that in air quotes when you say normal about you and me.
We're normal enough. Whatever. Yeah. We're doing what we're doing. Okay. We're both a little under the weather and we're still fucking killing it. Bye.
Yeah, under the weather, I think, is an understatement. I'm currently suffering with COVID. Yes.
I have sinus shit, so it's not the same as Scott. So I'm not trying to take his thunder from him, but literally he could be almost dying, but we're still doing this. Okay.
Yeah, I've got COVID, so feel bad for me. Go and give us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
They all just need to say get well soon. That's great.
Get well soon. Yep.
Her second victim was David Spears, who was a 43-year-old construction worker. He was found on the 1st of June, 1990, and he'd been shot 6 times in the chest as well.
See, it's the amount of times that she's shooting them. It's not one time in your brain, right? It's like you shot him 6 times.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's that constant firing. I think. I think the first time, maybe lots of times because it was panic. Second time, I'm now enjoying this.
It's rage at that point. This is what sets Aileen apart from your typical female serial killer. This is why she is so much more like a male serial killer.
Yeah, definitely. And it was only a couple of days till she killed again. The body of Charles, I think it's Karskeden. Yeah.
Karskeden.
Karskeden he was 40, and he was found in Paso County. He was a part-time rodeo worker, and he'd been shot 9 times in the chest and stomach, which means she had to reload.
She just keeps going up, y'all. She keeps going up.
That now is gone to a different level. It's not just unloading and emptying the gun. It's emptying the gun, reloading it, and emptying it again. And and then there was another one shortly after that. The body of Troy Barres, a 50-year-old salesman, was found in August, less than a week after being reported missing. The body had been fairly decomposed when they found it, but the medical examiner was determined the cause of death was 2 gunshots to the chest.
Okay. I mean, that's all you really need to kill somebody. You just need one good shot, to be honest with you. But yeah.
Yeah. And then we go on from here, and the killings keep coming. So a retired Air Force major, police chief of Florida abuse investigator Dick Humphreys was found dead in Marion County in September. The body was fully clothed and multiple gunshot wounds to the torso and the head.
Because she didn't give them the time to undress. It wasn't like, oh, we're going to do the deed, then I'm going to shoot you. No, she got in the car. They thought they were going to get a little, you know what I'm saying? No, you didn't.
Yeah. he got a completely different bang to the one he was expecting.
Right.
And then the next victim's a lot older. So the next victim is 65-year-old Peter Symes. His car was found in Orange Springs on the 4th of July, 1990, though his body has never been found. Witness described 2 women near the car in Orange Springs. Now, this is the only one of her murders that she never got convicted on because they never found the body and they couldn't prove that she had killed him.
Yep.
The final murder was Walter Antonio, who was 62. He was found in November 1990. So this killing spree is now gone for a full year. He was found in a remote part of Dixie County. They've been shot 4 times in the back and head. His car was found 5 days later, two counties across. In a year, 7 murders rivals the most prolific male serial killers.
Yes.
And the brutality of these crimes is almost a male-centric. This is how a male serial killer would behave.
Yep, that's exactly why Aileen is compared to a man. Like, honestly, she might as well have been a man because, and another little fun fact that we didn't throw in or that I forgot to mention is that she actually got married. But I think it was before the killings. She married a guy named Louis Gratz Fell. He was like in his 70s. It lasted like 9 weeks. Apparently he had a lot of money, but there were accusations that she was very abusive to him. Like, he was old, right? She's like, I don't know, late 20s or something when she married it. Like, this man is super old and he has passed away, of course, but it's like, I feel like there is a pattern already with her victims. They're all older men.
Yeah, they're all older men, like the men who abused her when she was younger. And I'm not, before anyone starts calling the show, which you can do, before you start calling the show and saying you're defending her, I'm not at all. The crimes she's committed are atrocious and she got what she deserved, which we'll get onto later. But there is a reason. I can understand the reasoning in her mind as to why she committed these crimes. I get it. It's not right, but I get it.
I do too. No, I do too. And I think that as people, a lot of us tend to have a sympathy towards these serial killers, even though they just committed heinous crimes. Like, we're not advocating it. We're not like, yes, he deserved to be shot 9 times. No. But if you are, being a human, you can understand how you would feel in that situation. Like, if you were abused and raped, like, what would you do? She took it way too far, of course. She could have just turned, I don't know, if somebody tried to rape her, right? It's like, go to the police.
Yeah.
You didn't have to kill 7 men. It's crazy, but...
I think after the first one, I think it became more of a... I think she saw this as a means to make money. Because they were all robbed. And they all had, I'm guessing, a reasonable amount of cash if they're visiting a prostitute. I'm assuming she didn't take credit card.
Yeah. Where's she going to slide it? Like, do they even have that? Right. No, I get that. But then a lot, like, her victims were lower income. Like, they were just like blue collar. Like, they didn't have a ton of money, but we're talking about like late 80s, early 90s. So she did what she needed to do to get by in that situation. And then until she moved on to the next John and just, hey, I got $80. This will get me 1 night in a hotel or 2 nights. I don't know how much shit was then, but
Yeah, she was arrested in January 1991. So she'd done over a full year of murders and effectively being on the run. Police located Tyra the following day, and Tyra agreed to basically force a confession from Aileen through various phone calls and contacts in the exchange for complete immunity from prosecution. They put her up in a motel And under the guidance from police, she made numerous calls into the prison.
Yeah.
And it was on those calls that she got Aileen to confess to all of the murders. Aileen had claimed that all of the men tried to rape her and that she'd killed all of them in self-defense.
Exactly. And I honestly don't believe the whole rape allegation. I'm not saying that one of them was not forceful with her. I don't know, but I do not believe that each one of them, they thought they were just getting them a quick little nip slip. They just were like, I'm going to do this, whatever. And then they're dead.
I'm not going to go through the whole trial on this because there are a million documentaries. If you want to watch the trial process was long and drawn out, and there was lots of attempts to try and get the case thrown out. There was lots of appeals.
Yes.
The long and short of it is she got convicted and sentenced to death for 6 of the killings. This is where I get stuck with the American system. So she effectively had separate trials for each of these cases. So that they were all tried together, but they were separate. And they were separate charges.
They were separate charges, yes.
Yeah. So for her first victim, she was charged and she was sentenced to death. For her second victim, she was charged and sentenced to death. She got 6 separate death sentences.
Yes,
how does that work? Surely the one is enough. You don't need to kill her 6 times. She's not a fucking cat. I don't get it.
Okay, so let me see if I can do like the death penalty for dummies version of this,
please.
Because for the US, right? So the main reason why they put somebody for 6 life sentences, if you killed 10 people, they might give you 10 life sentences. It's actually to minimize the chances of that person ever having the opportunity to get out of jail. So you have to think about it. If you get 1 life sentence, somehow that shit can get appealed. It doesn't happen very often, but it can happen. They wanted to ensure that Aileen would never get out of prison. Okay. There's no parole. She will never. So giving her the 6 life sentences is like, you're never going to get out, because they knew if she got out, that's it. She's going to kill again. She's a repeat offender. It's going to happen. So to sum it up, that's sort of why they do that, because it's to lessen the chance that the convict will get out of prison for any reason. Is
it also to maximize their chances by having them as separate charges? So if they've got 6 charges, if she gets found innocent on the first 4,
it's going to make her sentence go down.
But they've still got another 3 separate charges that they can get the death penalty on. It's to try and give them additional. Is to give the prosecution more chance of getting a conviction. Is that how I'm understanding it?
Yes, because that's the whole point. Like, she killed these 7 men. Obviously, she got away with 1 of them, so they only gave her 6 life sentences. But it's basically just to make sure that this person does not have a chance in fucking hell to get out. Like, she's never getting out. And a lot of the times the death penalty, somebody's on death row for basically their whole life, and they actually never get executed. They end up just like dying in prison, natural causes, or someone, whatever happens. But we know that's not what happened to Aileen, but pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah. I mean, so they had several appeal attempts to try and get this overturned. Various different, again, if you're really interested in the court side of this, go and have a look, because it is quite interesting. But long and short of it, she didn't get anywhere. Her execution date was set for the 9th of October 2002. Leading up to her execution, she made some very shocking claims about the prison service. And I don't know, I don't know what the American prison system is like, but I don't know.
Me neither.
Yeah, thankfully, I've never been to prison. I have no intention, especially not in the US. I don't want to go to prison in the US.
Same. I don't want to go to prison at all, to be honest with you. I like to do my own shit. I do not have time for that.
No, exactly. She accused them of tainting her food with dirt, saliva, and urine. She said she overheard conversations among prison personnel. In her words, trying to get me so pushed over the brink that I'd wind up committing suicide before the execution and wishing to rape me before the execution. She also complained of strip searches, tight handcuffing, door kicking, frequent window checks, low water pressure, mildew on her mattress, and catcalling. Catcalling and distaste and pure hatred towards me. She threatened to boycott showers and food trays when certain officers were on duty. In her words again, in the meantime, my stomach is growling away and I'm taking showers through the sink of my cell. Her attorney stated that Miss Wuornos really just wants to have a proper treatment, humane treatment, until the day she is executed. She declined her final meal and had a cup of coffee instead.
Okay, I'm not going to totally disagree with the prison system in the US. Of course, I don't know how it is in the UK or anywhere else, but I have watched a lot of jail documentaries and it ain't okay, honey. It ain't. Okay,
No.
we saying ain't. It's nasty. So some of those claims that she made, I could kind of see some of that being true. There are a lot of fucking shady ass prison guards who do rape women. This shit does happen. Did it happen to Aileen? We don't know, because at this point she just tried to justify every bad thing that she did. And I think she was like the woman who cried rape. I said what I said. She did, though. She used all of that to basically get herself like a get out of jail free card. Because it was like, hey, this happened to me. And so I killed these people, but it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not okay.
And in the lead up to her execution, she also underwent lots and lots of psych evaluations from various different agencies. And they score the psych evaluation up to 40. So 40 being you've got some serious issues.
You're batshit.
Yeah. And 30 is the peak of normal. Her scores ranged every single time. So she had low scores of 25 and a high score of 32, but she never had the same score twice.
No, it's because she's crazy and because she was able to get the empathy and the sympathy from people. Because you have to think about it. If you're that psychotic, do you know that you're psychotic? Or are you acting the entire time? Because she knew how to play on other people's, she knew how to play with other people's emotions. Also, there is a great documentary directed by Nick Broomfield. It was on Netflix. He actually does a one-on-one encounter with Aileen. And I don't know where you guys can find it. I think it's Nick Broomfield, I can't remember the name of it. Like Portrait of a Serial Killer or some shit. But anyways, it's fantastic because he actually becomes friends with Aileen and he actually interviews her. So you get to see the batshit crazy of how she was talking, about the prison system.
Yeah, and she really, really is. I mean, the day of her execution, her final words are fucking just insane.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, they are. And I know we shouldn't say insane and crazy, and we should say that they have mental health issues. But no, she was crazy. So her final words are, "Yes, I would like to say I'm sailing with the Rock, and I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus. June 6th, like the big movie, big mothership and all. I'll be back. I'll be back."
Look, at this point, she was insane. I'm sorry, clinically insane. Call it what you want to. We're not downing anybody that has mental illness. We've all suffered through stuff. I get that. But I think at one point, too, during all the interviewing, she even thought that radio waves were controlling her mind. She was like, they have radios up. It's like aliens and shit. It was way far-fetched. So it's sad. Again, watch the documentary by Nick Broomfield. It's actually really fucking sad at the end because they don't show her execution, but they do the final words and you kind of go into her execution and the song that it's really fucking sad because she needed help. Why not maybe try to rehabilitate her some while she's in prison? That's just me.
Yeah, and there is a lot of media around this as well. Like with the Zodiac Killer and Jack the Ripper, Aileen has got numerous books, documentaries, movies. She even got an opera adaptation of her life.
Oh, wow.
There's a musical version of Eileen's life as well.
Oh, shit. I haven't seen it.
I found a clip of it on YouTube and I watched about 8.5 seconds and went, that's shit, and turned it off. No offense to the people who put months and years of work into that, but it's not for me.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
I think the most notable is, we both mentioned it, is Monster from 2003.
That's a really fucking fire film, though. It's so fucking good. It just doesn't depict her life in the right light for you guys to understand the insanity. It just doesn't.
It doesn't. It's a very, very good Hollywood adaptation of this, but it's not a true adaptation of this.
Charlize Theron, like, hello, Hunty. She is so fucking gorgeous in real life. And then, like, her playing Eileen's character, I was like, that's fucking her. Like,
yeah.
If she were in Hollywood.
Yeah,
like,
and then they because they replaced Tyra Moore, didn't they? They didn't actually have her character. Christine Ricci played another character. Yeah,
Selby,
who represented that character.
And it was more of like this, like, oh, we're going to build up to a friendship and we're all like friends. And like Selby was obviously a lesbian. And so Aileen was not a lesbian, but the way they portrayed it is that she was just looking for love. She wanted to have somebody love her. And I don't think she cared if it was male or female at that point.
Yeah. And I think if you look at the entirety of her life from when she was a small child at 10 or 11, right through to when she started committing these crimes, all she wanted was someone to look after her. She wanted someone to be there for her.
She did. I absolutely agree.
Someone she could rely on who wasn't there to get something from her.
Yeah, and wasn't abusing her. It was like she really, and I'm telling you again, I'm going to keep saying this shit. Find this documentary by Nick Broomfield. When I tell you, it's so intimate and like you get a different perspective. And it's not like a documentary that you see on, what is it, A&E or some shit, some other channel. No, this is like a guy who he actually goes and he even talks to her mother. Like they even show you her mom.
What I will do is
crazy.
I will find it and I will put the link to that in the bio to this episode.
Yeah. I hope you can find it. I had a hard time finding it, but because they had it on Netflix like years ago, they took it off. And I think you can like pay for it to watch it, which I would say money well spent. It's very good. So
I'll find it. I'll find it somewhere, whether it's paid or not. There will be a link where you can go and find it, and I'll put that in the episode bio. Yeah. Before we go on to motive, and the listeners have given some motives and some thoughts as well. Before we go into that, I want to thank everyone who's listened to the first 2 episodes, and I'm hoping are now listening to this episode. I've been podcasting for a while now, and I've got Horror Movie Review. I've also got a YouTube channel. The listeners to True Crime, to this show, you've absolutely blown my mind. I never, ever expected this many people to listen to someone talk about true crime who knows nothing about it and doesn't really like it. But there's lots of you. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. Seriously.
All you need to do now is go and give us a 5-star review on Apple or 5-star review on Spotify and write some nice words, and that would be fantastic. Oh, and more importantly, tell a friend. If you've got someone else who likes true crime, tell a friend, because that's the best way to help us grow this podcast.
Oh, speaking of tell a friend. So I was in the grocery store earlier today and I was getting some wine, and the lady that was in front of me, she got the same wine as I did. I was like, oh, I really love red. She's like, me too, older lady. And I was like, yeah, I'm doing a podcast and I'm doing it later. And she's like, oh, what kind of podcast? And I said, well, I do a couple different ones, but I'm co-hosting with my good friend and it's true crime. And she's like, what is it? Write it down for me. She wants to listen. That's so cool. And then she wanted to listen to mine too. And I was like, this is fucking crazy. I was like, look, he's got 3. I said, he's got 3. But I was like, here you go. Here's the information. Here's my Instagram. And if you need to, message me. She was the sweetest older lady. I was so shocked.
Oh, that's fantastic.
You don't get that like usually.
No. And if you are listening now, hello, lady who bought the wine with Heather.
Yeah, hello,
thank
lady.
you so much for listening. Into motive. I kind of thought this would be fairly easy. When I looked at this on the surface, I was like, motive for this is easy. She just She
Yeah.
just wanted to kill people because they were men and she didn't like them. And it was just anger and rage. And then when I looked at everything that come before that led to it,
Yeah.
I really struggled to think of a motive. And if I'm honest, I think the first murder was not necessarily intentional. It may have been out of defense. And from that, I think she took some enjoyment from it. And she also saw it as a means to an end to gain money. And I think these for Aileen, I think these were murders of necessity in her head. She felt she had to commit these crimes just to sustain the lifestyle that she had. That is what I think her motive was. She needed money and she needed a way forward, and she enjoyed killing. That's what I think.
Okay. So I'm going to kind of just like topsy-turvy with yours a little bit, because I think that, yeah, she got in a situation. But I think she did the first killing kind of came out of fear, because look, you're in this situation and it's like you have a gun on somebody. So what the fuck else do you do? They're going to turn you in. She didn't want to go to jail. She didn't want to be encaged, because her whole life was nothing but a big fucking cage. If you ask me, it's like a zoo. Yeah. And so kind of my motive is like, she's born under unfortunate circumstances, and there's a lot of abuse, a lot of like, she had mental illness. Obviously all this mental illness ran in the family. Fuck, she didn't even know who maybe her real father was. Nobody fucking knows. And so I feel like it was her fate to kill. That's my motive. I know that sounds insane, but I really think that some people are just destined, and this is her this was what was going to happen to her. And there was a reason why. It's like she was born into this life. She was never going to have a good life. This was what her life was going to be. And I've watched a documentary that even said, you know, they basically compare her to a man. She is a male serial killer in a woman's body.
Yeah. And
100%.
I like, so you've got very strong opinions on, there are people who are pre-wired, hardwired to become killers.
I do. I feel that way.
And that's something that I know as this show goes on, we're going to get more into, and I want to know more of that, because I'm not necessarily convinced that they are. And I think it'll be interesting, because I think over time you're gonna sway me. But I think
I'm gonna try.
Yeah. And I think I don't know. I like to think that people aren't hardwired from birth to be in that position, because it worries me. I've got kids. I don't want to think that any of my kids are hardwired to go and kill people. That's terrifying.
Well, none of us want to think that. Like, I think that I have two boys, right? So I think about like, oh my God, what if they were like Ted Bundy or Jeffrey Dahmer or the Green River Killer, like all these other male serial killers that fucking John Wayne Gacy, like what the fuck? You guys, if you're listening, give us him. Fucking insane. But seriously, it's just more of a like, that's just how I feel. I do think that some people become the way that they become because of their environment, the way they were raised. But I'm telling you, it's hard to unconvince me that some people I think are fucking born evil, and this is their destiny. Like, they're hardwired. The genetics got fucked up. Okay. It's a fucked up soup. Not good soup. There you go.
So I asked a couple of questions online, and one of the questions I asked was whether Tyra was more involved in these crimes than, because she got full immunity. So
yeah, she's good.
The story that she told police is that she had suspicion something was up because she kept getting stuff that they were then pawning and making money from. But she didn't know that she'd committed any murders, and she was never there when she had committed murders. I get the feeling that their relationship was quite a codependency relationship. I don't see them leaving each other for any prolonged period of time. It maybe when she goes and sees a client, when she's going out with a man, but she's going to be coming back shortly after that. So I'm assuming a normal sexual encounter with a prostitute does not take a huge amount of time.
Yeah. I mean, you're paying for the hour or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
or whatever
So-
it is. And then if you
Yeah.
add on to the top of that, the time that they would have for whatever they're meant to be doing or whatever the man thinks they're going to be doing, then the murder, then the robbery, then the disposal of a body, and then coming back. I can't believe for a single second that Tyra didn't know, or if not, was possibly even involved.
God, you're just making it so fucking tough for me because like I love you and I don't want to go against you. But I might a little bit because I think that Tyra. Okay, so if we're going to go back and talk about the movie for just a second. Now, in the movie, you have Tyra, who is Selby, okay, not the same person. She's fucking oblivious. Like, Aileen is just telling her all kinds of crazy shit. It's basically like, oh, I just went and did this. Like, I just went to get a snow cone. Like, no, you didn't. You fucking killed somebody. I am not 100% convinced that Tyra actually knew she was killing people. I don't even know if I'm convinced that she knew she was she prostituting? She might have known, but I don't think she knew the extent of it. Because I feel like when I've heard the phone interviews, like I've heard Tyra talk to the cops and her talk to Aileen, it almost seems as if she's like really fucking shocked. Like when Eileen's like, I'm in trouble. Like I've killed these people. And it's like, holy fucking shit. I think that she knew Aileen was doing something bad. She's robbing. She's doing something because she's got this money. How are you staying in these hotels, right? None of them worked. I mean, fucking Tyra didn't do shit either, I don't think. No. So I don't know if I really 100% believe that she knew exactly what she was doing. Because I feel like, okay, would the police be able to like break her down enough to be like, you knew, so you're going to fucking jail because you knew? Because you can go to jail for that shit, y'all.
Yeah.
Like, don't be my friend if you're trying to kill somebody. Fuck you. Don't tell me shit.
Yeah, because
I ain't going to jail.
So in the States, it's very different to here. So in the States, you can get, if you committed a murder and you told me, and I didn't do anything, I could go to prison with you for a life sentence.
It's like by association.
Yeah.
Yes, basically.
Yeah, and in the UK, that doesn't happen. So if you killed someone in the UK and told me, I'd be like, okay, great. And I wouldn't have to do anything, and I couldn't go to prison for that. I could get done with perversing the course of justice, but I couldn't go. Yeah. I couldn't face the same sentencing as you for that crime.
See, that's crazy to me, but at the same time, that sort of makes sense because I mean, you didn't actually commit the crime.
I didn't do shit. I just kept my mouth shut.
You didn't do shit. Like they told you, and so you're like, "What the fuck do I do with that?" But again, I don't think, in just my opinion, I don't feel like Tyra was as involved. I think maybe she knew some shady shit was happening, but again, it's like they need money. How else are they going to survive? Was she really going to question Eileen's work ethic at that point? It's like if you see the movie, watch the documentaries, they talk to Tyra and she just seems very uneducated. Yeah. That's my nice way to put it, is like, I feel like she might have been a little stupid to like really get what was happening. Yeah. Like you're just like, no.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. And we had a couple of people chime in, and they're all mixed opinions, same as us. So I'm not going to go through them all. They're very much like, half the people are going, she definitely knew. Someone's like, she was there at the murders, I know it. And then the other people go, she didn't know anything. This woman was thick as shit. That was actually one I got. This woman is thick as shit.
I just feel like it was at that point, it was like, we have each other and you don't really want to do anything to lose this loving relationship. So I say, I mean, I don't know how loving it was. Aileen wasn't even actually a real lesbian. Like she just went into it because it was like, I need comfort. I need some stability.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, as for motives, the motives are not the motives I was expecting from the listeners. I was expecting rage. She was insane. I was expecting all those kind of motives, but that's not what I got. So MW Horror Reviews is Mark, who's my co-host on, what does he co-host on? Horror movie review. He said childhood trauma.
Yeah.
The childhood trauma drove her to these killings. And I kind of agree with him.
I mean, that's part of it.
Yeah, it's definitely part of it. And Mark's a great account as well. So Mark's he's not only my co-host, he's got a horror movie review channel on Instagram, and it's at MW Horror Reviews. So go and give him a follow as well. The other motive we got in that I'm going to read out is from Velma Cosplayer. She put revenge and anger.
Okay, I can see that too.
Yeah.
I can be open-minded enough to understand that she's taking revenge on these men, and they all happen to be in a certain demographic of like 40s up.
Yeah.
She didn't kill a 22-year-old.
No.
It wasn't some young guy. It was like older men.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
they were, I think there's an argument to be said that they were surrogates for the people she actually wanted to kill.
Yes, she wanted to kill her fucking grandparents and her piece of shit mother. Oh my God. Seriously, that bitch, she's crazy as fuck too. Seriously.
Yeah, and I think I completely agree with Velma Cosplay. Again, another really good account on Instagram. She does Velma and Daphne from Scooby-Doo. She does Supergirl, loads of really cool creative cosplays, and she's at Velma Cosplayer on Instagram. So go and give both of those accounts a follow.
Yeah, shout out.
Yeah, shout out. Free shout outs. You get free shout outs if you get involved in the show. That's how it works.
We'll follow you.
Yeah, we will. Well, I already do. But yeah, we will definitely follow you.
I will follow you because I'm not sure that I follow her. So I will go and follow her because, that's what I do. I'm nice.
Her account's really cool, and she's really interactive and really friendly. She's really, really, really nice.
Awesome.
To wrap this one up, each month, me and Heather put on a show for nothing. We spend our time and our effort to do this. I know I've already said it twice on this episode. I'm going to say it again. Go and review us on Apple Podcasts or give us a 5-star review on Spotify. Share us with a friend. Tell an enemy. If there's someone you know who's going to hate this, I don't care as long as they listen. Just get someone else to listen to the show.
Yeah, we don't care if you like us or not. We just want you to listen to the show. That's all we care about.
As Heather knows a lot more about true crime than me, I made a decision a little while ago to kind of let Heather not take the lead, but I listen to Heather, and me and Heather talk a lot. Heather's got a real thing for female serial killers because they are...
Love them.
Yeah, because they're unique. There's not that many of them.
There's not.
Because of that, I think we're going to do Killer Women again. And we're going to do that.
Yes.
We're going to do that next month. So there's going to be another poll go out for another round of Killer Women, and you can choose which case we look at next. On that episode, there is a potential we may have a guest. I'm going to leave that guest hidden for now, but there is a potential we may have a guest.
Suspense.
So make sure you tune in to find out who that guest is. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much, Heather, for being my full-time co-host.
Absolutely. You know I'm here. I love true crime. Killer Women is the shit. I know that's fucked up, but I don't care because it's actually really true. Like, us women are fucking deadly. That's why they have a fucking TV show called Deadly Women. Watch it.
They do. They also have a show called When Sharks Attack, equally as scary.
I fucking hate sharks. Don't get me started on that shit. Fuck all the shark movies ever made. Fuck that.
Heather, as co-host, you get jobs to do. You get tasks. So your task for now is to sign us off and say goodbye.
All right, guys. So thank you guys for listening. And remember that no case is too complex for Scott and I. Give us a follow and subscribe. But until next time, stay killer.
Thank you for listening to the You Run podcast. Don't forget, you can get involved in the show in so many ways. All you need to do is head over to yourunpodcast.com.
Yeah, you don't want it to sound like you're literally reading from a script.
Shit, sorry, Heather. That's right, this is your show. It's fun. It's different. It's like nothing else out there. This is your true crime.
This motherfucker.